Hello, hello. No, someone's gone. Okay. I was just going to wait and see if anyone comes in. Enjoying the little music in the background, which I haven't used before. Maybe it's a bit loud. Let's turn it down a little bit. I like this one, Feeding the Ducks. Let's try that one. Oh, hello. I'm just waiting for a few people to arrive. Everyone was late, so bear with me. Tell me what you think of the new music. Oh, here they come. Now they're starting to arrive. I wonder, does that mean that my notifications went out very, very, very late? So while you're here, let me know where you're from, and we'll just let the music go for a. What do you think of the music? This one's called Feeding the Ducks. I hope you can hear it nicely. Tell me where you're from before I sort of kick in and start with the gift ideas. That's what you're here for, I hope. What would be a good gift for the bird nerd in your life? So yeah, but do tell me where you're listening from, and I might just make a starting soon a nice starting soon graphic or something, because come on, hit me up in the comments. I can see you there. So there we are. Hello. Let's see. Oh, hi Naomi. Oh. Yeah, just stick around a little bit, Naomi. I'll just do a nice little starting soon. Oh, hi Mon. Nice to see you. Now, so the number thing is lying to me because I can only. Oh, there we go. 2. That's good. Yeah, just bear with me. I'm just going to make a little overlay so people know that we're here, but I'm just going to wait for a few more to come in. Very, 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 very weird. Usually people are in straight away, but what are we at 20 minutes or something? Yeah, 20 minutes in and nobody was here. Let me. How's your Monday going? How's your Monday going? Anyone see any amazing birds over the weekend? That's what I'm really interested in. Or did you do anything in the garden? How are you doing, Mon? That's Did you put a another sacred kingfisher photo up? Oh, this is strange. All right. Okay. Well, that's as good as we can get, isn't it? Let's have a transparent background. Let's download that. Now, tell me to, gang, is the music too loud? Oh, Buff Banded Rail? Where did you see that, man? Where did you see that? So I've got two questions for you both. How is the music volume compared to my voice? Can I leave it on in the background? And then we'll just get this. Let's put that up. There we are. That's good. That means I can do things, but people still know I'm good. Lagoon and Sandgate. Very nice. Very nice. I am the Nuke. Haven't seen you before. Nice of you to visit. Now, what are you irritated about, Naomi? People down the road have cleared heaps of land. And you... So, is that the first common miner that you've seen in the... at your place, Naomi? Now, your neighbours are like... Jimmy Barnes is one of your neighbours, isn't he? Alright, I might just make that music just a little bit quieter. You can tell me if it's too quiet. It's about to start again, I believe. Yeah, there we are. So how's that? Is that too chill? New arrivals. Oh no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me the refugees from Victoria have already started. Did you see the ridiculous stuff someone said on... Oh, you probably didn't see it because it was on Sky News because of our election. All right, I'm gonna put the countdown on, and then we'll This is going to be very low key today too, so you'll probably be seeing a lot of screen sharing, and we'll just be talking. I'm really glad you're here, Mon, because I'm going to talk about a few photography style gifts. So let's put the countdown. G'day, bird nerds. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. This is the Bird Emergency Monday live stream. Monday with me. Next week, Holly will be back. So Monday with Holly, Dr. Holly Parsons from BirdLife Australia. I've got to get used to this, hearing the music. Trying out something new, little bit chill. When I'm not streaming with a co-host, I hear the silence much more. Anyway, welcome. Glad to have you here. What's the perfect gift for a bird nerd, the bird nerd in your life. Have you ever struggled with that before? Like, have you struggled with, well, I struggle with it all the time. If you buying someone a gift, I'll just hide this for a minute. Let's just remove that. There we are. That'll come on shortly. So often people just do the last minute gift. So I thought we'd start really early. I mean, we're nearly 4 full weeks away from Christmas, the holidays. I don't know. I don't even know when Hanukkah is, but you know, they don't have to be religious holidays here in Australia. You know, we have the whole of January off, and everyone's giving people gifts, and it's the office party rundown and Kris Kringle and all that stuff. So I wanted to think about a few things for every kind of price range. And of course, we're going to have things like the book, right? The book. And of course, the classic book is the field guide. Do you need more than one field guide for the bird nerd in your life? Of course, that. What if they've already got this? All right, what do you get? Well, I've got a suggestion for that. You go to... I'm going to need you to put comments in or tell me your suggestions while I go to the websites I think about as we... Okay. Hopefully this is going to bring up the first one. Now, here we go. If your significant other, the bird nerd in your life, already has this, and if they love it and you don't think that they need another bird guide, field guide, what about getting them this one? This is the companion to the Australian bird guide, but it's half as big. It's smaller, and it's easy to carry around. That's what I like about it. So let's have a look. So it got the weight, doesn't have the weight, but it is 198 by 120 millimeters. So that's fairly cheap, fairly small. Compact, portable size, ideal for bird watching and field trips. That's why I like it. I'm waiting for someone to give it to me, but I've been out and handled it in the flesh. It's a really, really, really good idea. Now the price on that is $34.99. If you see that out and about, it's really new too. August this year. What have you got, money? Oh, very good, very good. Okay. Tell us, Mon, because you know these live streams are the back and forward, very conversational. I'd like to know what bird books you've bought for your kids, because that's something I don't know about. What's a good book for kids? I do have a few suggestions for kids in that have been written by young people, but that's something I would like some guidance on. Now let me go back to I wanted to go back to birds because there's a few other in the CSIRO publishing that now here's one I always like to recommend. So I'll bring this up in a second. Oh, you're all coming in now. That's great. Hello everybody. This is very conversational today, and we're doing something a bit different, playing the music in the background. So let me know what you think of that. This track is called Feeding the Ducks. So couldn't resist it. Oh, hello Twitch. Oh, we got people everywhere. Facebook, YouTube. That's great. Okay, here's a book that is actually quite old. It's only available as an ebook nowadays, unless you can find it secondhand. But I think it's a beauty. Let me just see if we've got... Are there any reviews? Yeah. Let's have a look at some of those. It was published in 2014. So let me put that up. So if you want to buy it new, you can only buy it new as an ebook. But it's by Tim Dolby and Rowan Clark. And of course, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you will know that Rowan has been a guest. Now, this is a great book. I actually gave my copy away to someone when they were getting into birding, and I haven't found another one to replace it with. But what it does is sort of identifies the different places in each state that are really good, reliable places to go bird watching. So, as it says here, over 400 good birding sites. Now, some of them from 2014 are probably not that flash anymore, but the ebook has been updated and frequently updated. Let's have a look at some of the reviews just to see. Let's see. Chris Watson. Now, of course, Chris Watson should be known to many of you. The amount of detailed information within its pages will be enough to make even the best travelled birders eager to get out and check a few more sites, which I couldn't agree with more. A worthwhile addition to your trip planning ritual. Twitchers will find this most agreeable companion, but all bird-loving travellers should pop a copy in their backpack along with good pair of binoculars. Yeah, I totally agree. Mine, you're telling me they were 34-year-old kids. Okay, tell me what bird books you opted for. And I'll just pull that one out again, and I'll just go back to... There's another one in the CSIRO list, which I think is really worth checking out. And it's in that, less than $50 price range. Okay, so this one you can only buy in this format in Australia and New Zealand, but it is published with another name called Understanding Bird Behaviour by Princeton University Press and the History Press in the UK. So it's available worldwide, but with different names, different publishers. And let's pull it up. How Birds Behave. Published in 2020 first. It is available as an ebook. There's some beauties down there. Look at that Swifty. I'm not going to just go through millions of books too, by the way. We're going to talk about some other things. Let's see if there's any famous people who have reviewed this. No, not really. Now, again, this is a book that I saw. I saw in my local bookshop, which is actually a stand in the shopping centre. And, of course, I am the nard and didn't buy it. And it's not there anymore. But I think that's a beauty. Now, books. Well, that one's fallen in. Now, this one you will probably... Oh, how are we going to get... Oh, it's because of the green screen. All right. The Urban Field Gnats Project, a guide to the creatures to the creatures in your neighbourhood. We've done an episode on this. It's not in the pod feed, I don't think yet, but it is in the live stream list where we talk to the authors. Why I recommend this, and I would recommend this for parents who are trying to encourage kids, not just for birds, but also anything to do with nature and being observant in their neighbourhood. This is what I would suggest. Let me just see if there's a... I'll just pull up the publishing details for that, because I'm not sure where you can buy it online. Murdoch Books. Don't be put off by the publisher. The publisher is Murdoch Books. But of course, I don't think it's those Murdochs. The home of Murdoch Books. And I'll just put in Field Gnats. Actually, I'll put in Field Naturalists, and that should... There we are. $32.99 is the price mentioned online. And August 2022. Let me just bring that up. I've got to say, this is the first book. If I was going to buy a book for someone who is just getting into bird watching, birding, and if they're just curious about even gardens and public gardens, anything in the bush, insects, fungus, you name it. This is the book I would recommend. Yeah, fantastic. Now I'm just trying to see so you can buy it online here at Murdoch Books, murdochbooks.com. And I have seen it out in many, many, many bookshops. And of course, support your local bookshop before you go to Amazon or anything else. Mon, I'm still wanting to know what bird books you bought. Okay, now I'm going to... Right. It's my other another suggestion. If you don't want to buy something physical, why not, depending on where you live, buy that birder in your life something that they might want and they might not have thought about doing. Become a member of BirdLife Australia. Perhaps. Now that's $79 for an individual member, and I'm sure that you can buy that on behalf of someone else. It's $35 concession, so student or other concession, pensioners or whatever. But if you think that $79 is a bit steep, well, what about... Oh, it's jumped into another one. What about you can join them into a special interest group? Now, Mon, the BirdLife photography group. $15. All right, $15. Here, I'm pretty sure you can join somebody else. So that would be my suggestion for someone that you know is a birder, but maybe they're not in your, immediate family. This might be the thing. You know the distant uncle that you know is into birding, and he's got most of the gear, and he's got books, or they've decked out their camper van or something. Well, why not get them in one of the special interest groups? Photography, raptors, seabirds, or the Way to Studies group. And of course, I picked the photography one because I think that's the most likely to interest everyone. Now, if we're talking about people who are into photography, what about something like that? Mon, this is another one. This is another one for you. Oh, and that's good. Right on cue. BirdLife Southeast Queensland Bird Book. Now that's a field guide, isn't it? Like for the birds most likely to be found in your region. Now, tell me, Mon, would you appreciate a really nice SD card? Maybe one that was 128 gigs instead of 64. What do you think of that idea? I know I would appreciate that. It might need you to reach out to in a devious kind of way and say, that's a nice camera you've got. That's a really nice Nikon D5100 camera you've got there. Oh, does it have twin memory slots or just one? Oh, does that take a V30, a V60, or a V90 card? What do you think of that? I know. I would love. I would love an SD card because this little monster has twin slots, and to record video and high burst photos, to write it without filling the buffer, I need V90 cards, and they're not cheap. So that would be, if you were buying for me, you would have to love me a lot, because you're looking at $100 to $200 depending on the capacity. But you can pick up, something like this is one. That's a 64, and that's a cheapie. That's a SanDisk. This is one of the ones I use to record and back up the podcast. But yeah, I reckon they're all right, Naomi. Let's before we go back to this, I'm just going to put on Slater's Field Guide. Mon, is that the Slater's Field Guide you've got, or have you got the old one that I used to have? But this is the one I've got now, because I know I've told the story a million times. I destroyed the earlier ones I had, just from overuse or leaving them in a tent having them in a tent when it flooded. Back when I was a kid, when I didn't know about how to choose a good campsite. You seem to think that my idea of a I'll just kill these ones. Let's kill those ones. So you like that idea of the SD card. So do you need V30s, V60s, V90s, and are you limited with the capacity that you can put in? Like I might just have a look. Might just have a look now at Amazon. Funnily, Naomi, that was going to be one of my next suggestions for the photographer in your family. That these are an excellent idea to get replacement batteries. Depending on the camera model and manufacturer, you can be looking at $25 to maybe $50, which is great. Also, what else have we got? An adapter to take two cards. Oh, can you have an adapter to put it in? The other thing I would say, if it was someone like me who does content creation or live streaming, the dummy battery is a good idea too, that you could put in. Now, what did we say? A D5100. Okay, so you are looking at looks like you can get two batteries on eBay for the 2000 mAh, so that's their capacity, for about $15 each. That's pretty good. Now, I'm going to bring up something else which I reckon is a good option for the photographer. For the photographer in the family. Ooh. Sorry, I'm just checking out to see whether this is the whole thing. Gee, it is. It's not the... I'm just looking at $41 for a replacement battery on its own. Let me just put this into the stream. That would be another suggestion for me too, would be the battery grip. So, oh wow, we've got a lot coming here. All right. All right, I'm just going to star some of those because we'll get back to them in a minute. Okay, Mon's got a 64 gig. I've got 64s and 128s, but I want to get a couple of 256s because video is what I want to do most. Leaving my adapter and on the camera. Okay. Oh no. No. I don't think you ever you never leave batteries in your camera. There we are, 12-year-old camera. Okay. What did it say? Yeah, that's the great thing about books, isn't it, Mon? That you can get one and it gets updated and revised, so you can pass on your old one to to friends, family. I've given books, bird books, plant books, gardening books to local schools. Even just neighbours if they've got kids who I've noticed are getting interested in birds and plants. You can see what kids are into if you see them regularly. You know what they're up to. Okay. What about joining? This is for people overseas, perhaps. There's the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. Maybe you don't want to join something, but maybe you want to donate on someone's behalf to good projects. Audubon have memberships and special donations. So that's got the US and the UK covered. BirdLife International, there we go, a one-time gift. Make a donation, and it'll be matched dollar for dollar up to $200,000. I don't think anyone's going to be giving out $200,000, are they? But yeah. So of course, all the conservation groups need money, right? So that would be a suggestion. Now I'm going back to photography here again. Now, what? Why is that not showing properly? Let me get this up. Oh, there we go. That's why. Let me get off there. I'm going to add this page. Sorry. All right, I've got to share this one now. Where are we? A tab. Now, this is something that I reckon is really, really groovy. Wrist strap for a camera. So, of course, I wouldn't ordinarily say the first place you should go to find it, and this is in the sub 50 Australian dollars, but really, really handy because neck straps are usually very, very uncomfortable. So that would be a suggestion of mine. What do you think of that idea? Oh, Mon. Who'd written in the book? I want to know that story. And what do you think of my my wrist strap idea for photography? Okay. What do you think of that? Now, a lot of people do their birding and relying on their mobile phone, mobile device. But even if not, if they are if they're taking their camera, what's something else that you need? That we've talked about spare batteries, but what about this idea? What about the spare battery pack that you can double to charge up your phone, which someone might be recording bird calls with, or they might be using it as playback, or they might have one of the e-books, one of the apps, the ID apps on their phone. How's that for an idea? What do you think of that idea? Now I've got another idea too here, which this will probably cause something to go wrong. Yeah, something did go wrong, but that's all right. Again, similar to the line of the SD card. What about the SSD? Now, this is my 1 terabyte one. This is like my second one. So this has got podcasts that I did for clients on it. But I've got another one there, which is 2 terabyte. But you know what I would love? I'd love a 4 terabyte SSD. Because your photos have to go somewhere and you've got to get them off this, which isn't big enough, right? And you might be like me and have stacks of them lying around. You don't want to have all your important files sitting on 30 or 40 of these. Not that you'd need to mortgage your house to get 30 or 40 of them. But, you know, I think nowadays I can buy a 2 terabyte SSD drive for about $90 now. I think that you got to look around for a bargain. Yeah. Now, Mon, what do you mean that you birdwatch with a kid and with 36 kilo dogs makes it hard? Does that mean that you have got your hands full and that you must have your camera hanging around your neck? Is that what you mean? I've got something irritating me in my ear. So yeah. So what do you think of those two ideas with the extra battery pack rather than a battery pack for the camera, but higher capacity, maybe like longer life for some of these? I've got a couple of different battery packs, and I just keep them every night. I charge at least one of them while I'm sleeping, and then the SSD drive. So that's there. Now, what about cheaper gifts? Well, what do people always leave behind or don't have the right one? Cables, right? People have never got the right cable. So I reckon if you have an HDMI cable, HDMI to HDMI, and maybe mini HDMI to HDMI, USB-C, USB mini to USB 3. Those people have always, you've never got the one you want. You've never ever got the cable that you think you want or that you think you need. So that would be my cheap suggestions. Now, we haven't really talked about binoculars. Does anyone want to buy somebody a pair of binoculars? Or do you reckon that's a bit too personal? Do people need to try them, and that really means finding a store that you can visit to try them out? What are your thoughts on that? Would you purchase a pair of binoculars for somebody else? Okay. I thought that was what you meant, Mom, but I just wanted to make sure that your hands are full. Are your dogs noisy when you take them for a walk? Like when I take Shadow, he's very quiet and doesn't disturb anyone, but I would have thought two dogs would be making noise, talking to each other, disturbing the birds, and that would annoy me because I'm a grumpy old man. Now, what about What about things that aid a bird watcher? Hat. Oh, bear with me. I meant to grab this before. What about if you get to the last minute and you have a active, outdoorsy, birdie kind of friend and you're not sure what to get them, right? But you can get this anywhere, even if you're on the way driving to Christmas or holiday lunch. What about this? Again, the backdrop's making that hard. But this could be two things. This is actually sunscreen, 50 plus. Now, people always forget sunscreen. Even if they've got one tube, it's good to have one in the car or one in their backpack that they take bird watching or whatever. So sunscreen is a suggestion. The other thing is insect repellent. If you know they've got plenty of sunscreen, insect repellent and or zinc for the nose. What do you think about that? Good suggestions. What's this? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so that's to get your files onto your iPad or your iPhone. Very, very, very cool. Have you got Bluetooth or Wi-Fi on your camera, Mon? That's how mine transfer, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Okay, we're getting to know Mon's dogs. They don't bark, and they stop while you photograph. You've trained them well. You've trained them very well. I saw something online about the different kinds of adapters and the different speeds and blah, blah, blah. But I haven't noticed anything particularly different with even a really cheap adapter that I've been using. So, yeah, I think they're all pretty good unless unless you're a professional photographer, you probably don't need super, super, super high speeds. Let's see. Now, what about those, what do we call them? Ankle cuffs that you can tuck your long pants into, and that can go over the top of your shoes or your boots to keep pesky things like burrs and bindi eyes out of your socks and shoes and your pants, but also for keeping things like leeches. Yeah, g'day Stan. Yeah, kind of like gaiters. I've seen them in sort of canvas. I've seen them in things like Kevlar, Mylar. I'm not sure how much they would cost. I think they probably would be generically called gaiters, but I'm sure they're called. I'm sure they've got all sorts of great marketing terms, depending on which shop you went to. Some of the things you need to consider when you're buying something like that too is how are they made, what are they made from, how are they sourced. I did see some pretty cool things that look. They had a buckle and a belt, like a belt buckle fastening, and they were stitched together and looked like they were out of canvas. And I saw some that I think were made out of hemp. They were online, so I don't know how great they would be. But that's something that I reckon a lot of people who spend a bit of time out in the bush, if they don't have, they might really appreciate. Also a net that can keep flies off the face and around that and drop down. Got to be enough extra material to maybe keep things like leeches and ticks out as well. We've got to think about those. So, how do you feel about those suggestions? Now I'm going to see if I can find the little thing that I am interested in. Here we are, bird caller. I'll just do the Google search. Here we go. This is something I had as a kid. Oh, and there's actually a video on it, but I don't think we'll play the video. I got a copyright strike for one of my recent videos. Here we go. There we are. I'll show you this. This is what I had as a now, I had no idea what it was called, but one of my uncles gave me this when I was probably 10 or 11. And it's a piece of metal, a piece of wood. It's made out of birch wood and little metal insert. Right? Can you see that nicely there? And that you twist it and it makes a little twitching, tweeting noise. And what they say here, it is the standard songbird call throughout the world, and whilst it doesn't mimic a single specific bird, the sound it makes gets inquisitive birds to come in closer and check out the noise. In Australia, it works particularly well with honeyeaters, thornbills, fairy wrens, emu wrens, grass wrens, scrub wrens, gerygonies, whistlers, and occasionally even Tyto owls will come in at night if you're quiet. Now, I can tell you that in my personal experience, they do work really well, or it does work really well. Honeyeaters, thornbills, fairy wrens, scrub wrens, whistlers, in my own experience, that has worked. Now, it's called the Audubon Bird Call, so I'm guessing it's available in all sorts of places. This, I'm looking at it on bintel.com.au, and of course Bintel is got a whole lot of binoculars and things like that. So let's have a look at the binocular accessories that they have. Oh, look. Swarovski NL Pure 8x32 burnt orange, 3,490. No, I don't think we'll be looking at that. I'm looking at things much, 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 much cheaper. What have we got in the accessories? Whole lot of stand mounts and things like that. Lens cleaning gear. I don't think you can ever go wrong with cleaning kits if someone you know has a lot of this stuff already. Cleaning kits. That bird call, by the way, was $17.50. So I don't think you can go wrong with that. Most of these things are... Oh, let's go to books and sky guides. Yeah, I reckon that's a good idea. But eyepieces, all that. I think that's all very personal. Yeah. I've talked about the little bird call thing a few times, and I hadn't looked it up. I couldn't remember, like I didn't know what it was actually called, and I didn't know where my uncle got it from. So now we know that it is it is available at Bintel, and I may well be buying it. All right. Most of these books are all night sky photography. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. What about tools, microscopes? What about spotting scopes? I think most of these are out of the kind of price range that any of us might be thinking about. Yeah, can you believe? Look at the prices on those spotting scopes with that $7,000. Bloody hell! No, I wouldn't even be thinking about that. What are the cheapest ones? Nikon. Are they the cheapest ones? Let's have a look. Oh, the cheapest Nikon one is $718. Wow. Wow. That's hellishly expensive. What about Mead? I'm digging this song, by the way. Okay, Mon, I really like that you brought this up. I'm against playback for birds. There's a Mead spotting scope for $299. That's about the kind of money I would spend if I was taking one with a camera. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take that one out of the thing. Yeah, Mon, I'm against playback. I think people get slack and lazy, but I think the little bird caller that I just talked about is about the same as making the squeaking noise with your mouth, but I can't do it. So I don't have a problem with calling in the birds for a short, which is what I used to do, and then you sit down and you wait. I'm totally against this idea that you play specific calls like territorial calls, distress calls, things like that, and then continually play back or go to different locations in a territory and do that. One, I think it's really lazy, but two, it's stressful and is definitely intrusive. And as you said, Naomi, unethical. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. I'm not against something when you first arrive somewhere, and then the birds can come and have a look, and then nick off. But if you keep doing it, I've made used the analogy many times before on the show that it's like someone coming to your house and bashing on your front door all the time and not going away. So yeah, I don't like people who tape record calls. A lot of the apps on the phones have the bird calls, or you can on your phone. You can, if you've got access to the net, you could go to one of the sites that has the recordings. I just think that's wrong to be playing back all the time. If you're out there recording and you want to play back to see what you've heard, take some headphones, right? It's just crappy. I think it's a form of abuse. So yeah, please don't do that. So I think that would be very good. Now, what about other kinds of gadgets and things? I want to hear some of your suggestions now. So yeah, it's over to you. Actually, let's Yeah, Mon, I think that's how I use mine too. I will go out and hear something, and then if I want to do it in the field, if I want to check in the field, you guys have seen most of the pictures and things that I put up, or my morning recordings, and often I've got the headphones on, my wireless headphones or my Bluetooth headphones on, because I'm always listening to something. So yeah. All right. Is there something to teach you? Okay, Stan. Nate, Stan, did you make a comment on one of the YouTubes about this? If I got you confused, I think it was you. Okay. There's a few things. I don't think there's something that is really just to cheat you, but I have on my phone the Morecambe. Let me go back to where's the about. Oh, this is a very annoying. The Michael Morecambe e-guide to the birds of Australia, but there are e-guides for all sorts of places. But you will find the Michael Morecambe e-guide to the birds of Australia is in both of the yeah. Now, Sibley have the American one, the RSPB has one. There's the guides to the birds of the Middle East, East Africa. They've also got guides for mammals and trees and whatnot. iNaturalist and eBird are good places as well. But if you want an app that will let you check the ID of the bird and play some calls back, and that you don't need the internet, so you can be away out, whereas a lot of the eBird, iNaturalist, whatever, don't know about Merlin. Merlin's another one. I haven't been using Merlin, but sometimes to play the sound, you need to be connected. But with this one, you don't. So I would recommend that you check that one out, Stan. So the Michael Morecambe e-guide to the birds of Australia. And there's a free app, there's a free one, and the free version, and there's a paid version. I used it so often that I bought the paid version. Yeah. So, yeah, Mon. Are you using the same one, Mon? What I do, Stan, is I will find the bird that I think it might be. For instance, let's just say here we are, pigeons, and I might go, oh, I'm in tropical Australia, and here's the collared imperial pigeon. Oh, that's a bad idea, because that one didn't have the recording. Oh, here we go. Wampu. Oh, is that a Wampu fruit dove? So that one. So what about? Oh. So there we go. That's what I use. Mon has said the Australian Bird Sounds app. Okay, that's another one. I'm not using that. I can't speak to its fantabulousness. Merlin, yes, Merlin does miss out on a lot of birds. I want to know what birds are in my yard. Now, Stan, I would say if you if you haven't already checked out the Birds in Backyards site, there we are. Check that out. That has a lot of backyard birds and links to a lot of nice videos, and some of them have the bird calls and everything. So that's a good place to start as well. So yeah, okay, we're back to you guys. There's a bunch of my suggestions. I was trying to think of what I would want if someone was buying me a gift, and I think I've covered those. I don't reckon you can go wrong with an SD card, but you need to find out what the which type is required. So that might require Birds in Backyard to YouTube is great. I agree, even though needs to be updated quite a lot of it, but that's great. Yeah. Back to your suggestions for other things. So I've got my wrist strap, or it's kind of a bit like a glove, neoprene glove with a strap for the camera. Yeah, camo gear. Yeah, I was thinking more than clothes, because people, you need to know their sizes, and sometimes a bit harder to return or whatever. But what about a little bit of netting, camo netting and things like that to cover your gear if you're sitting down? Little chairs, lightweight, camo net or something for the backpack. Oh, no, that was what I did. I did want to say, nearly every camera bag that is a generic or a little backpack is pretty crappy. So perhaps if you know someone really well who spends a lot of time out in the field, maybe ask them if their backpack or if their day pack is sufficient, and maybe talk to them about what they would really like. A really good camera / binoculars / place to store stuff would be great. What have we got, Mon? Great Indigenous CDs of bird sounds. Yeah. Oh, yeah, at op shops. I reckon secondhand bookshops. eBay is a great place to find, old books, be it about birds or historical naturalists' accounts and gardening stuff. Yeah. Any other suggestions, folks? I've got another book suggestion too that haven't done my review yet, but this is really interesting too. All right, Stan, we're going to do a show not next week, maybe the 12th or maybe the 19th, or in that one of those weeks. I might actually talk about gifts for the gardener that I think of. I'm doing a visit or a couple of visits to some garden centres apart from the green and red barn to see what's available that is, a little bit left of centre or might be quite birdy. in the gift shop or anything like that. So yeah, if you've got, actually, let's put this out there, Stan and anyone else. Now I know what Naomi's garden is. Well, I don't know what Naomi's garden is actually like, but I do know where she's at and the kind of plants that would be good there. If you've got a problem spot, or if you've got a spot that you want to fill, size, height, width, take a pic, send it to me. Tell me about the soil you've got, the aspect, and I'll come up with a suggestion. Water booties, as in gum booties, as in waterproof footwear. Is that what we're talking about, Mon? Water booties, like gum boots? You can't go wrong with. I don't know if I'd want to go out on a long walk in the bush in gum boots, but some of those hiking boots that are essentially waterproof are fantastic. Surf booties, are they like neoprene? The neoprene, like wetsuit booties? Is that what you're talking about, Mon? Have I got the right thing? Oh, look, you're even advertising Big W. Yeah, okay, so you do, the neoprene ones. I haven't worn neoprene since I actually had a wetsuit. So, is that for walking around on the beach, Mon, and keeping your, or if you're going swamp stalking, you're going looking for bitterns, are you going to wear neoprene booties? And do you get the ones with the rigid sole? I think that's what I would get if I was actually walking around in the fringes of a marsh or a swamp. I'd want the rigid sole. Yeah, the estuary. So, rigid sole. Okay. So you can get those for $10 at the moment. Well, I like that idea. Yeah, water bottles is a good idea. Thanks, Naomi. I didn't include anything like that because sometimes, well, I know I got given a water bottle, but it was the wrong size to fit snugly in the pack that I like to use. So that's sometimes I think you've got to get the right one. Look, I would say a really cheap and cheerful gift is a good bird mug. Oh yeah, teasing too. Bird emergency merch. I'm not sure if I'll have any before Christmas. I probably won't. But I have some funny and some cheeky bird emergency merch. Hook on the belt. Yeah. Bottles that hook on the belt. I'm sure that would suit some people. That would drive me nuts. Something swinging away on my hip. Bird calendars. Yeah. Bird Michael from Twitter. I might look up his link. He might have sold all of his calendars out. Erica has some. I wanted to mention people like Carl Bovis, and so many of the bird photographers have calendars. But this was going to be my other suggestion. If you are like me and you spending lots and lots of time on bird Twitter or bird Mastodon or bird Facebook or bird Instagram, and you see somebody who you really like a particular picture, or maybe you know that someone you know loves blue-faced honeyeaters or is crazy for variegated fairy wrens, a particular bird, and you see a photo you really, really like, reach out to that photographer. DM them or if they have an email in their description or something, send them a message and ask them if they sell large prints. They might not, but they might be prepared to print you out one and send it to you. If you want a big one, it might cost you $150, but it's a gift that nobody else can be giving them, right? So that would be a suggestion, apart from things like calendars, which is a consumer item, but something unique, and you might get a personal message or a signature or something, or so that would be what I would do. I would reach out to someone that I'd seen online and I'd really like their gear, and if they don't have a shop already, message someone and say, I really love that pic, Mon, I really liked your sacred kingfisher. Could you crop that for me and send it to me in a 8x10 format on matte paper, And yeah, maybe if they've got a printer or something, they may well do it. If not, they might crop it and send you a file that you can have printed at Officeworks or Big W or your local photo shop. Redbubble, there's so much merch out there. I mean, I'm working on my merch. It's really hard not to produce crap though, and it's really hard to find merch that is ethically produced and in materials that are not problematic. I always show off my mug, but I'm sure this mug was not. I mean, I bought this cheap in a Big W or a Kmart. If I was going to put my name on it or my logo on it or something, it would have to be. I'd have to be very, very confident that it was produced in the right way. Keep cups. I was looking for keep cups. They're even really, really hard to find a good one. That you can sell for less than about $50. Who's going to pay $50 for a keep cup, right? Yeah. So yeah, there's some issues. Hit me with another suggestion, folks. I do like the like shirts, any kind of stuff like that. I think is good. I mean, I desperately need a new cap. I've worn it out, and now it doesn't keep the sun off the top of my head on its own. So I need to put my headphones over the top when I'm walking. So yeah. Leads and cables, that was my other suggestion. Mon, put your photography brain on again. Monopod. Do you have a monopod? Would you use a monopod? I saw a really lightweight monopod that I thought would be a good one. Now, Stan, I think you came in late. We did talk about memberships or donations, and for BirdLife and Audubon or whatnot, you're looking at sort of $50 to between 50 and $100 for some memberships. There's also, I would say, subscriptions to some magazines might be great too. We talked about the photography special interest group at BirdLife. Now that's $15 to give away a membership. So that's, maybe for someone that's on the distant edge of your, friendship groups or something like that, or, second cousin. You don't want to spend $100 on second cousin, but maybe $15 fits into the kind of Kris Kringle stuff. So yeah, that would be my thought there. What have we got up here? Other things that I think are a little bit outside the box that people would use, certainly someone like me would use. Don't forget there's things like YouTube Premium. That means people can really enjoy their experience on somewhere like YouTube a lot more if they don't have to be bombarded with ads constantly. So if they're someone like me who watches lots of bird stuff on YouTube, I think it's somewhere between $13 and $15, I think, a month for YouTube Premium. So you could start off with but that means that you probably got to lock in for a bit longer, don't you? So yeah, let's scratch that. I'd probably consider something like that for, a child, maybe, that you might be spending a couple of $100 on anyway. There's some great videos, DVDs, things like that with good bird stories and good bird children's books and things like that. So that's a course. But that's in the general scheme of things. I think everyone thinks about books and gift cards and things like that. So I was hoping we'd step out of that. I don't know how many people have been thinking about SD cards for their photographer bird friends. Any others, gang? While we're thinking about making something for lunch. I really have to trim this one. We had so much rubbish at the start. I'm just checking to see if there's any other suggestions on the Twitter. I should mention too, the birdemergency.com/Mastodon if you are preparing for a Twitter apocalypse. I have started maintaining a directory of people, bird nerds on Twitter, on Mastodon. So the birdemergency.com/Mastodon. You'll find that there. If you want to be included, just hit me up on either Twitter or Mastodon or Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Let me know, and I will. If you are trying to grow your contact list on Mastodon, I will add you, and people looking for bird nerds or bird adjacent people can find you there. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. Nobody else has really dropped anything in the Twitter, in my DMs or anything. So I reckon that's all of my suggestions. What have we got? Mastodon talk. Now, Mon, I think the general answer to that is yes, but I didn't before I signed up to Mastodon. So if you go to the birdemergency.com/Mastodon, you'll see some of the servers that people that you might know have joined. So if you go to Mastodon Social, there's an option for there's a page for servers. Let's see, I'm just looking for it now. Here we go. Mastodon.social, hit home. Mastodon Social about, and there's some server information you can find there. Choose one, and then if you don't already have an account, it will ask you to join. I created an account before I knew anything about socials, and then I tried to start another one that I could. Apparently, you can send one. Direct people to your new one. So I've got two out there, but you will find me at Bird Emergency at mastodon.social. So people seem to be finding me, and I'm posting first seen and heard stuff there each morning. I do a different one for all the different platforms, and it's really funny because the birds that, it takes me about 45 minutes by the time I've done it, uploaded, do the next one, upload it, do the next one, upload it. So it takes a while. And the bird calls are pretty weird. This morning I said Little Raven, and right on cue, Little Raven. Often I'll say Australian Magpie, and right on cue, Australian Magpies will say something. There's so much crafty stuff, isn't there, Naomi, that's available on all the different sites, Etsy, Redbubble, heaps and heaps and heaps of things that you can find. Of course, there's gift cards, but I'd like people to think a little bit beyond that. Another thing that I think people, if you know someone who's got a GoPro, or maybe they've got a camera and binoculars, just a little stand, like a Gorilla, flexi stand, just an extra one of those can be really helpful, useful. Selfie stick, whole lot of things, but we've already talked about this. Spare batteries, I think that's a great idea. Spare battery like the one I always use, which I've got plugged into my phone at the moment. And what did we have? The bird caller in the sub $20 range. So, yeah. Now I'm going to ask you for final suggestions, and also any suggestions that now Holly and I have not determined what we're going to talk about next week, so feel free to make a suggestion or make a request. And then we've got what have we got? Two more Mondays before Christmas, and then I'm going to try and release a whole lot of stuff, all the bonus episodes like this that we've been doing that I haven't put in the pod feed yet. I've deliberately spaced it out a little bit so that over the holiday season here in Australia, January silly season, there's going to be a lot to listen to when I probably won't be able to find people to interview because they'll be on holidays. So yeah, planning ahead for that. And I'm pretty close to starting going out on location, and I think I'll be doing more live streams with people on site, and certainly recording more live streams with people on site. So really looking forward to that. So you can always suggest things you would like to, people you would like me to chase up, anything you see that's interesting out there online, in a magazine, in your local newspaper, anything that you think might be good for me to cover, and building up that habitat gardening kind of content too. So I'll be going out shooting a lot of that. So I want to visit some public parks, public places, and maybe nurseries, garden centres. If you know any fantastic streets, streetscapes, amazing gardens in your area, let me know, and I'm looking to do a bit of travelling around into Australia and certainly into Southeast Asia, going to visit some of these places that are fantastic. All right, we're going to count down a bit. Any other suggestions, any other things you want to bring up? Then it obviously living in Victoria under dictator Dan, I have to go back to the salt mines, because I'm being viciously oppressed. The black cocky count. Thanks, Stan. Yeah, the Kangaroo Island glossy black cockatoo count. Maybe we should talk about that, Stan. I know I asked you this last week, but I forgot what you told me. Is it best to contact you through your YouTube? Send an email there or something, a message through there, and we'll set something up. I'd love to talk about that and more about KI. I wonder. Do you know if Danny's coming over for the survey? That'd be cool. I'd love to know that. Yeah. Okay. Also, bit of news too on my Twitter and everything. Going to be a bit less. All right. Thanks, Stan. Bit less political about birds and stuff now that the Victorian election is out of the way. But the New South Wales one is coming up, and that's March, I think, next year, and that's going to be the koala election. I hope so. I'll probably be far more about habitat. It's all going to be about habitat. Okay. But should we keep the music going? Tell me that. Should I ambush Holly next week with this feeding the ducks in the background? What do you think? Yay or nay? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Give me a quick show of thumbs or show of yeses or nos. And especially this is those of you who are photography heads. Photography Friday is coming back soon. I'm looking for people that you would like to hear from in the photography space. I do have about 50 or 60 people on my list, but it's much more difficult to find photography people who have a good who have time, or that we're able to get 2 or 3 of them together, because they're usually spread far and wide. Keep the music, okay? I will look at that. I got a copyright strike for my Blackpink. Remember when I played that video from Blackpink? I got a copyright claim, but then obviously someone from Blackpink or their management actually did take the time to look at how I used it, and they took it off. But it's really difficult to use music, so this is good. I haven't been to Katoomba or Leura for probably 15 years, Naomi. So I have both Leura and Katoomba on my list. what I would love to, if you know anyone who has a really groovy garden, or if there are any that are sort of open to the public, if you could let me know which ones you would suggest, either from the habitat point of view or the bird point of view, if there's ones that have birds often there that you know about, let me know, and I will try and organise, a visit, and maybe, well, we're looking at doing photography events, workshops in some locations, so that would be good. Naomi, what did you mean by this? Jar. What? Was that someone you were suggesting that I should keep, that I should find? I don't know. Tell me. But yeah, really interested. If photographers, researchers, anyone that you would like me to chase up, and particularly people who don't have much of a presence, that, they're not active on social media and doing a whole lot of promo. I like to dig up the people who are too busy doing stuff, and talk to them about what they're doing, rather than people who are out there curating their perfect social media presence, because they're obviously spending more time doing that than doing stuff. All right. Well, I think that's about it. I think that's about it for today. Next, I'll confirm this with Holly in the next few days, but I'm pretty sure Holly and I are back at midday next Monday, which is the 5th of December. And there we are. Naomi, you're probably going to have to message me some of those. I do know of Jacqueline Anderson. M. Watkins, I'm not sure of. Naidu, I don't know who that is. So, yeah, if you've got a link or something, message me, and we'll be on that. See you, Mon. See you, Stan. I look forward to catching up with you and talking about Kangaroo Island and the cocky count for sure. I'll see. We'll come up with a day, and I'll see whether Danny can join us again for an update on that. That would be cool. Great. Thanks, Naomi. See you, Stan. All right, everyone. That's it. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. This has been the Bird Emergency midday Monday live stream. We're always here, whether it's me on my own or whether it's me with Holly. Monday, midday, Australian, Eastern in the summertime, daylight time, and when we're not on daylight time, Eastern Standard Time. Monday, Melbourne, Sydney, Hobart, Canberra time zone. See ya.